Dan here, DD Speed Shop. So we're working on this fine Chevy II. So for those who've been around for the Nomad content, we're still working on it. However, waiting on parts. The Ford 9-inch is in. What's at the border? Hopefully it'll get to me at some point. Maybe tomorrow, fingers crossed. In the meantime, there's a lot of stuff to be done on that thing, but kind of burnt out on it. Thought, let's do something fun and easy, like welding floor pans. Idiot. Anyway, so this here is our 64, I think, Chevy II. And this thing has pissed off a few people on the internet because I said I paid $5 for it and people thought that was ludicrous. It's a $500 car. And, you know, I've thought long and hard about it. And, you know, I have to appease the internet. I got to make friends out there. Anyway, I think what the real problem was is this thing, because I got it like this, people can't see the end vision of this car, and I think that was the main problem. Unfortunately, I mean, I got one guy too late. The last guy, and no problem with what he did, he started taking all the trim off. He was going to make a gasser out of it and all that. Well, we may go that route. We probably will. I would really like a nose high straight axle one of these days, and maybe this will be the car. But in the meantime, the trim could have stayed on. Would have made it look a little better. It had glass in it, but it was all smashed, so he went and took it out. So not having glass really changes the car. Obviously, the whole interior is out of it. You know, carpet, all that has been yarded away. And I think that's a big part of it. Had someone seen this car with all the trim on it, glass in it, seats in it, kind of running and driving, maybe it would be for a better deal. Now, I want to put it together so in my own mind, it does look like a better deal. You buy a car, you pay X number of dollars for it. You then take it all apart, put everything in bags and, you know, muffin tins and all that sort of stuff. You've immediately turned the car into a goodbye into scrap iron because you took it apart. Someone like myself is going to come and have to put it all back together. And usually will hack you at the knees and won't really pay up for it. Now, in the meantime, I have been very lucky on Marketplace and found a bunch of things for this. So it did come with a back windshield, or back window, so I have that. I found a brand new front window with the gasket for $100. The guy had one, he lost interest in his project, and shredded the car. It was a 4-door, bought a bunch of stuff, decided to shred it. Unfortunate, but that is the way it goes. The same guy actually had a good used fuel tank, which is in this, so I eyeballed that, got that for $30, I think I paid for it. So that's pretty sweet. New fuel tank, because this one does in fact leak. We straightened out a few things. Oh, I got a bumper. A bumper for it. That's really going to change the look of it. You store all the good stuff outside, right? Where we put it. Look at this. It rotted right off the car, but a little bit of overspray. But nice, straight, clean bumper. That should fit on there nicely. And ultimately, really change the look of it. So, I think I was into all that stuff for $200. I bought a set of miscellaneous bucket seats for $100 today, actually. They're kind of high backs, not really the best, but they are. I have these other ones I might put in. What else did I find? I ordered a carpet from Rock Auto, $200, I think it was, $209 for a red carpet. We have the door panels, we have back seats. So we put it all together, but before we do that, we have to tackle the rust. Now, there is very little in this car, but what there is, we have to repair. So this is the worst of it. This one, it was really weird. This is right under the seat. I understand when it rots out at the boots, but under the seat is weird to me. So maybe the window leaked or who knows what. But so we got to take care of that. But luckily, the rocker behind it, the inner rocker is nice and solid. So we got that there. And there's already a patch panel. Man, I should get a light here. There's already a patch panel in it. So, and there's one little hole right there on that side. The driver's side's in really nice shape. It just needs a little, you know, 3x3 patch welded in. So, depending what you want to do, obviously this could absolutely be patched in with a refrigerator door and a few patches welded in and be done with it. Put carpet on it, no one's going to see it. In this situation, it did come with floor pans. 2 halves, that one, that's the driver's side. And a brace, actually, because right under it, it's missing now, but there's a seat brace that goes right there. So, we have the pans. They were included in the price of the vehicle. I thought we would use them. Now, if you look at it, you see this line right here. I believe that is going to be this fold line right there. where obviously when this car was built, the pan went from there to that seam sealed line in the back, and the repair panel goes a little bit past it. So I think we'll probably cut out there, along the tunnel, just behind the seat, and across like that. So definitely more metal repair than you would really need to do, but I think it'll make for a really nice repair. We'll keep the weld in the tunnel and then against the sill, and then just one across the front and across the back. So it should be pretty simple. I have it up on jack stands. I'm going to get under it and make sure there's no bracing. I think there's just a one floor brace, and then the subframe piece kind of does run against the floor. So I may have to kind of cut around that and then, you know, grind or drill it out. But I think tonight that will be the plan, is maybe get it cut out and test fit in, and then we're going to use this fancy welder. Hopefully it's good. If it's junk, I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll get set up, we'll get after it. Job 1, make the hole much bigger with these tools. Slight change of plans. So here's a little piece we'll call it an inspection hole. So here's that, this brace right here. I don't know what way it goes, but that's that. Yeah, perfect. Which goes across. There's also a little brace here. This must be where the front of the seat goes. The back of the seat goes across there. So that's junk. Now, in the midst of doing that, I might have accidentally cut not only the one brake line and the fuel line, so that's awesome. That being said, this fuel line actually, she's pretty grotty, and wow, the fluid coming out of that brake system is pretty junk. So to run new lines at the end of the world, this is where you got to make your own choice. I'm a big believer in new brake line, new fuel line. If you've ever had a brake line, especially in this system with a single pot master, which we'll probably leave for right now, just get on the road as is, and if we do put a different front end on it, we put a front axle on it, it'll have disc brakes, we'll then change everything. But to waste money on right now, it just really isn't necessary or in the budget. So I do have a bunch of 3/16 lines. So run a new line, it'll take me an hour, and it'll be brand new, and I don't got to worry about having a brake line burst, because a brake line bursting on a single pot master cylinder is not good. So anyways, we have a little bit more trimming to do. Obviously, that's just kind of an inspection hole. We're going to go right up to the edge here, cut that out, probably go right up to the edge here, and cut this section out. Now the reason for that is, under here, if you see this piece right here, that's like our front kind of frame section. Now I don't really want to cut into that or around that. It ultimately, it runs right where this mark is. There's actually a flat piece of the floor, if it'll show up on camera. It goes right up there, I can feel it. Everything it's attached to is nice and sturdy. It had this little, I guess we'll call it a patch panel, in there. So if we square this up, maybe go a little bit out, up around, and just up to kind of where it curves up, and then weld it in, plug weld it along there. We'll have one patch there, one, you know, in and around this size, and I think that's all we're going to do. It'll save me a bunch of screwing around with that frame area, and might not look as nice, but it's also a heck of a lot less welding. We probably got, you know, 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot, and then, you know, foot round type thing versus the entire deal. So I'm not a big fan of patchy looks, but you know what? For what this is, it'll be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit more, and then we'll start fitting that pan in. Should be pretty easy. So I got my floor pan out. I just got it on this sweet table. So essentially I'm going to end up kind of cutting it, you know, about here and right on this kind of, you know, somewhere up there. And then we'll kind of just cut this whole section out and see what we're going to patch in. Now, when it comes to the big hole itself, we're doing pretty decent. The nice thing was, that's the sill, and it is like rock solid. it was all covered in undercoating and like protected. That's original metal. This hole was a little smaller, but it kind of was rusty, so I just drilled it out bigger, which I like to anyways because it's full of junk and it needs to be all washed out. Up at the front, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe this isn't all rotten out. So that's pretty freaking nice. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pitted up and whatnot, but kind of is what it is. Oh, actually, this guy, the welder guy, sent me some of these with the welder, but try roll it. I used the grinding disc, was great, and the flat wheels, that's pretty good too. It did, the undercoating gooped it up pretty quick, which happens, but otherwise did a nice job. So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut these into bigger sections. So I guess I'm going to cut way back here and kind of up and over, and we'll just see how that fits, and then we'll cut across here, there, and I'll probably cut this section off. And we'll just kind of place it in there. We'll see what it looks like when we do a little bit of tracing. I don't really want to cut any more of the car. I'll probably trim this to fit. I might just kind of overlay it as well. Let it hang over a ½ inch, just weld it in, seam seal it, and it'll be just fine. And I got to figure out where that brace goes underneath here, and maybe just grind that metal off while it's easy to get to, but pretty simple. Set the camera up and we'll start cutting this mint panel into multiple small mint panels, and then we'll probably use a little section up here or something like that to fix that the one hole in the driver's side. Whether we get it tonight or not, it's already kind of late, but it's time consuming. Who'd ever thought I'd say I kind of miss cutting out floor pans? Weird. So there you go, floor pans are installed, basically done, right? No, those look terrible. I did a little bit of trimming to kind of make them fit, but ultimately, they're too big, if I can get this out. But, hopefully this will show up in the light. You put it in there, you go on the underneath. Oh, that might be terrible. There's a line right there, and that's where the cut line is from the floor itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this out in the zip cut on the bigger side, just so we have a little bit of kind of overlap, maybe an eighth or so. And then I can go in, whether overlap it or I might end up just zip cutting that all out as I kind of go around. I'll show you how I do that. I think I might do it. Make it look just brand spanking new, but I think we'll just kind of get maybe the pan tack welded into place for tonight. It's getting late. I'd like to get them both maybe just started, but I don't want to be doing a whole pile of welding. This thing was very well undercoated, and undercoating fire is it's a real deal. So we'll just kind of tack it in a few spots and maybe call it for the day, but there you go. That's pan. I'll get the other one traced out real quick as well, and we'll trim those out and we'll start welding them up. So here's our panels. Gave them a quick cut and scuff. I did the inside and I punched a bunch of holes in it in the other shop. Well, you guys got a bunch of dust in the lens there. Just so we can plug weld it all together. And then this is our brace. I just kind of eyeballed the way it's going to fit. I assume that's probably where it's going to go. So I gave it a bit of a grind. And then same thing, I punched some holes in that so we can weld that all together. There are a couple of captured nuts here welded in. So if you were going to do this, you would kind of mark it where you want before you weld it in, a couple of pilot holes there. so the seat bolts can go through, but since we're going to be putting in some sort of miscellaneous bucket seats, it's kind of irrelevant. We'll probably try and nab, you know, some of this material when we're putting the bolts in, just for double wall, for a little strength. And yeah, so let's move inside, see if we can get these kind of tacked in maybe. And I think that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. I don't have any seam sealer either, so if we didn't get it welded in, I can't seam seal it. Which I know that's a ridiculous reason to stop, but that's what I'm using. All right, so let's start welding this sucker in. Now, what I'm gonna do is a bit of a, I was just gonna tack it, but I think I'll weld this patch right in, and maybe we'll get the other one tacked in. We'll see how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I want to get some work done. Second wind, eh? So we got the new welder, fired up the old Prime Welder, and man, so this Great Western saw guy said it was the ticket. So give me my honest review. I paid for it. A lot of you guys actually used this thing before, so that's pretty cool. Right off the bat, I played with it a little bit. It seems to weld fine, so we'll see how it really does. Obviously, being a discount welder, the ground clamp is kind of, it's a little on the chin side, no big deal. And the other thing, which probably is only going to affect a very, very select amount of people, but I am one of them, the fan is always on, which for YouTube is actually not necessarily the best thing. Otherwise, we'll see. So, let's get this thing tacked into place. We're just going to put a couple of so that'll hold it where we want. Maybe we'll put it in the front too. Yeah, she's good. She don't mind welding the junky steel, so that's good. So now we have this thing roughly in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zip on the side of the panel, and we're going to push the two panels together so they're flush and weld her in. So this is kind of a I learned this from Old Time Garage, I think. But a lot of people do it. Old Fitzy, the cut and butt, he's obsessed with it. She works good though. Really, it's better on quarter panels, but let's get fancy. So we'll line the zip up at a bit of an angle. Okay, so now grab your closest anything, which in this case is my Leatherman, and I need a hammer handle. Hang on. Okay, so the idea is you push this metal down so they're flush. Look at that. Actually, it could take a little bit more cutting, to be honest with you. So there we go. Ah. So I'm going to carry on doing this a bunch. The nice thing about using the hickory handle is you get the smell of it. We have a bit of a curvature. Hopefully that shows on the camera. That is pretty dang on flush. Give her a couple of tacks. Not bad. The welder's a little on the hot side. She's good for now. Okay, so I'm going to keep jamming on this. You can see all this smoke. We actually already have fire. It's making me think maybe I shouldn't do this. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to keep jamming. So there's our little repair. I think it's pretty good. I mean, you could do a bunch more grinding off if you want, but I'm just going to seam seal it and call it a day. Weld it from underneath. Big low seam sealer down the whole side. It was perfect. So I think we'll try and just test fit the other panel in while we're at it. You know, I'm kind of in the mood. I might just kind of tack it, maybe cut it all out and get it so it's all tacked in. We'll do all the heavy welding tomorrow. That's pretty good. It smoked a little bit. Wasn't actually as bad as I thought. And we'll call it, it's probably about 11 o'clock. So we'll give it another half hour, get it tacked in so it looks like something. And then tomorrow, yeah, buzz it all in, fix that one side, seam seal it, let that harden up for half hour. And I guess we gotta weld the piece on the bottom. I'll do that all tomorrow, I guess. I like to put the carpet in here, put the seats in, that way it just looks like something. I think that'll get all the naysayers on my side. I'm here for you, internet. Well, do as I say, not as I do. I kept welding. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, but I cleaned up a little bit. It's probably been 20 or so minutes since I stopped welding. Overall, it came out pretty good. Couple issues. I mean, some of the welds were really good. Some were kind of crappy. That's part of the rusty kind of metal. The back, it was definitely a little pitted. Didn't go so good in the front. Oh, she burned in nice. That's a nice little machine to have around. I can't complain. Yeah, so I think that's where we're going to leave it. It has to be all ground down yet. But that is a job for tomorrow. So we got that one little hole on the other side tomorrow. I'll pick up some seam sealer on the way home from work. And we should be able to seam seal it, give it a quick coat of paint or rocker guard, whatever I said to do, just kind of, or truck bed coating maybe. Give it something. And then I'd like to, hopefully I can harden up pretty quick. It's supposed to be nice weather finally. And I can toss the carpet in there. We can kind of play with the seats maybe a little. And yeah, make it look like something. It's always nice to end a video with a win. But there you go. So this is, I mean, this is an at-home repair, but it's a solid repair. It's, are we, you know, priming everything and all that? No, and I don't really believe in that stuff. I mean, for those tie-in builds, if you want to do it, by all means, go spend your money on it. But we'll weld it on there, we'll seam seal it, and we'll undercoat it. It'll be fine. That's how it was from 1964 and made it all the way till now. This thing will outlast me with the amount of miles, and the weather will be driven in anyways, as long as it doesn't get smacked up, is probably most likely what would happen to this before it would rot out. So there you go. Good repair. Cheap metal, cheap stuff, and do it at home. Don't be afraid. Chop it up. There's no real rhyme or reason. Didn't pull a tape measure out once. We used 5 or 6 zip discs and a bunch of batteries. And there you are. You have a nice solid floor. Is it worth $5 grand yet? Nah. $1,500. Come on, internet. Give me that. It's actually the next day. Just got home from work, and I just went right into it. At the end of the day, we were basically kind of done. I ground out around this little patch. I welded one in right there at the foot, and then there's one right there in the corner for the wheel tub. Now, what I'm going to do next, I think that's everything. There's a couple of spots that are kind of like, you know, mediocre, but it'll be fine. There's no holes in it. I'm going to get all this junk out of here, and I'm going to wire wheel the floor and do all that, and then I just have some of this kicking around, a little rust converter, so we'll put that on, whatever this kind of stuff is here, and then I'll seam seal, we'll let that dry, we'll come back, and we'll coat the whole thing in some rocker guard or something along those lines. So there you have it. So I gotta say, this little welder here, this Prime Welder, man, she's pretty sweet. Now, so again, Ben, Great Western Saw hooked me up, so if you guys want, give him a call. I dealt with them in Saskatoon, but I think they have one in Regina too. If you're in Canada, I know a lot of you guys are in the US. You can get these Prime Welders in the States. They are, man, bang for your buck. What it feels like to me right now is I'm using someone else's welder just because I'm not used to it. But by the last patch, I kind of had it figured out. So hit those guys up, let them know. And the abrasive disc, man, it's good. I can't complain. And they got free shipping over, I don't know, a couple $100, $250, something like that in Canada, which us in Canada, man, there's a lot of space stuff has to go across. So I will put this thing away, and I'm excited to use, well, we'll do it in the trunk, but that won't be for maybe next video, so see how it goes. Spoiler alert, the rear end came for the Nomad, so I don't know if we're doing that before or after, but that's where we're at right now in the real life DD Speed Shop time. We'll get this out, we'll get it cleaned up, vacuumed out, seam sealed, painted, let that all dry for maybe an hour or two. I want to put the carpet in, get that trimmed out, and keep going. I have a ratchet shifter I'd like to put in this thing. I think I have all the pieces for it. Get this, this column shift's no good. It's a Power Glide column shift. It's a Turbo 350 transmission, so no matter what you do, it's not going to work. The linkage is all gibbled. We'll put it in, put it in park and leave it, then we can just tie into the reverse lights and neutral safety. But get that together. I got a cheap set of bucket seats I found, whether we use the ones I have or another set in the back of the truck. And man, this thing's going to look like a hot rod in a freaking hurry. So, you guys can watch me in fast motion suffer with dust and all sorts of stuff. Oh, wear a mask. I've been wearing a mask lately, and my boogers aren't black the next day, so wear a mask. Okay, so we got everything kind of wire wheel. I didn't go crazy, let's be honest. We just got the big chunks off it, vacuumed it out. We're good to go. Now what we're going to do is seam seal this sucker. I just go whatever the body shop has, their own brand. Ouch. Seems to work fine. Now, we're going to do, I'll get in this corner here first, just because that's out of camera. So we're going to glop on at the, I'll do the whole thing actually, at the sill, because I had a bunch of glopped on that I kind of took off. Otherwise, I'm just going to lay a bead in and about where we welded. I'm not very exact with this stuff. When your welds are this good, you don't even need it. Anyway, then I just grab a little schmoorer here. And kind of flatten it out, make sure it gets in. If there's any breaks in the weld or whatever you want in there. There you go. Good enough for truck bed coating. So, I will finish this off. And you gotta remember, when they put this stuff in at the factory, it was like some 18-year-old kid who didn't give a crap about it. Before computers could take over and do it properly. Oh, God. So. So, as it appears, I didn't turn the camera, so you guys didn't get to see me do most of the seam sealing, but I think you got the gist of it. Now we're going to use I just picked this stuff up at the hardware store. I don't know if it does anything. Rust check, rust converter. It's like 10 or 15 bucks for a can. And put this on there. It goes on kind of wet, and it almost dries to like a blacky purple. It's just supposed to neutralize the rust from carrying on. This, I'm just going to hit the hot spots. The seam sealer says it's supposed to be top, or can be topcoat once it skins over in a half an hour. I assume this will be roughly the same. What does this say? En français, stupid Canada. Shake well before using, apply for heavy rust, repeat application. Yeah, we'll say 10 minutes, or half hour, whatever I said before. So I'll just get this quick blast. We'll come back, we'll truck bed coat this thing. No one will know the wiser. And again, this will outlast all of us. Well, I guess I might drive in the wintertime. Wintertime gasser. That might be a clickbait title. Okay, we're a little ways later. Everything is kind of tacked up. I got just a little bit of easy liner, truck bed coating. I don't think I explained it in the previous clips, but if you look or go back, there's little burn marks. I did put the brace in here previously, so that's all done. Then we, plug welded it to the rocker. It's a pain to show everything in this. Chips all mangled. In this hot rod. So I'll give this a quick coating. I think I got a couple cans of it, but we're just trying to prevent it from rusting. The absolute proper way to do it. there we have it. So we'll let this dry. It's a little tacky. Hopefully we can get it dry and get the carpet and stuff in tonight yet, but it's like a factory floor. I got the carpet on the other side there. ACC, that's where, you know, Rock Auto has it. It's El Cheapo. And we went with red carpet. The red carpet, put the back seats in, or back seat in. You know, a little trim piece of stuff like that. Kind of start piecing her together. And maybe we gotta test what kind of bucket seats I want to put in this thing. I got a few options, but I'm pretty happy with it. So hopefully be back in an hour or so. I'm gonna work on the Nomad on another video. Wish me luck. Well, we're actually in a funny spot because between both shops, I'm literally waiting for paint to dry before I can carry on. So I thought what I would do is I would jump ahead a little bit in this video while we're waiting for the paint to dry. And it'll save me a little bit of screwing around in the next video. So my plan was interior in, you know, end of this video. And the next video I was going to pull the bumper off, drop the fuel tank out, and then we were going to start doing a little bit of body work in the back because this thing was kind of KO'd, obviously. And there's one little section here, it's got a big wrinkle. And I think if we could push it back out with the bumper off, it would make life a lot easier. So I think we'll just take the bumper off, take the fuel tank out, get all that taken care of, then I can start the next video where I'm welding in patches and doing all that screwing around. But taking the bumper off that parts car was a freaking nightmare. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grind off the heads of all these fine bolts, and I'll put new ones on. And then this will just come off real easy. And once it's all off, I'll show you exactly the nightmare it would be. Drop the fuel tank out, and then life's good. Now we got, hopefully the freaking paint is dry. I got the heat on here, I'm sweating. Well, I started to grind the heads of those bolts out, and I thought, that's going to take a long time. Then it dawned on me, I have a torch. Then it dawned on me, this thing has a fuel leak. Then it dawned on me, I was pretty much committed. Is this ½ inch? Wow. Anywho, so this is the bracketry. It's not too bad to get to. You got to think the bumper actually hangs down to about here. You got to reach up and get the these old rotten bolts out. So that's not the case. Ooh. Huh. What if I just cut this out? How bad's it? Ooh, the fuel tank really is leaking. This just two straps on the tank are not looking the best. I'll get the proper socket. Ugh. These are junk anyways, so maybe we'll get lucky, those break off. Wow. Didn't even make one anvil noise. It's meant to come apart. Oh, it's like I used a drill to take it off. Okay. Well, one. Oh, that's junk. Come on. Yeah. Leatherman. No, yeah, I got one. Boom. Oh. It's been repaired before. There's a little duct tape holding it together. Okay, let's cut this out. Fuel tank out. So you can see right here. Oh, it looks like actually it's got silicone on it. Somebody has tried to fix that in the past, and the filler neck had a bunch of duct tape wrapped around it. So obviously that was a previous problem. Hopefully this fuel tank I have, it's supposedly a good used one, but I don't know. The guy said it was decent. Hey, for whatever I paid, 20 or 30 bucks, can't go wrong. I did spill some fuel, damn it. But anyways, we'll let that evaporate out. We should be fine. So when I'm grinding in here, I got to worry about leaking fuel tank stuff. It's got one terrible patch in there, but it looks like this side bracing is still in decent shape. So a little patch welded in, no one will be the wiser. I'm gonna keep this and take it outside just in case we need like the sender or whatnot out of it, but it will be trash. You guessed it. The patience have eluded me, and I just want this thing together. Now I figure it's still a little tacky in there, but you know, some people glue their carpet down, so we'll just pretend that's what we're doing. Oh man, look at this red around the dirty floor. Oh, it's a two-piece. You know, I think I knew that because I ordered it. So we'll, yeah, I'll toss it in there. So there you go. This is the way it was. The center had a tunnel that kind of did that. There's one sewn edge, which I believe goes on top of the back carpet, and this will be covered by the seat. It's obviously a little on the wide side. We can always trim that down or move it side to side, whatever we got to do. But I think right now, I like to put the back seat in. So we got that section in. I got to put this one door panel on that side, or what do you want to call it, inner panel, which I think is just kicking up over there. Get that in there, we can get the back seat in, and yeah, there's no need for that to come out again. Put the door handle back on. Yeah, oh yeah, she works. We're mint. And then, yeah, back seat in. We're done welding in here. I just want it to look like a car, you know. Then we might play with the front carpet. Well, I might have to screw around, put the shifter in there. That might be the next video. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm rambling. Check that out. So I was able to screw around, put that one panel in, the other one was already in, slapped the seat in. The carpet really started to kind of contour, and really, you know what, it's actually molded pretty good, because as you can see, it kind of rolls right over. So it doesn't need a whole lot of trimming, it'll need just a little bit at the fronts. I'm not going to do any trimming, because I'm not going to pull the seats down, because we have to take it all out for the shifter and whatnot. There's a little piece of kind of, you know what it's called, it's like C-channel that goes around all this, which I'm not going to put that in, because I believe it goes on, then probably gets held in with the sill plate. Got the one door panel on. Very simple. I think we'll set the camera up and do the other one. So we're going to just do the other door panel, and I'll put those seats in that I have, and we'll see how that looks. We need a little bit of help out of you guys. You can vote on what way we should go, high backs or low backs. And yeah, man, in a matter of, so this is 2 days. I started last night. I started at 8 o'clock, went till 1. Today I got off work at probably 4:30. I've been giving her, it's probably 8:30 now. So, you know, we'll go till 10 o'clock or something like that. And essentially they'll be done, you know? Anybody can do it. And now, come on, now, once the seats are in it, you're going to think it's a $5,000 hot rod. Okay, let's put this door panel in. Now, a few things real quick. Before we do any craziness, we're going to go ahead and lube up the window stuff and the door. Make sure it does go up and down nice. That's actually not too bad. And now we'll just kind of hose down where our little gear regulator thing is. Hopefully we're getting something in there. Oh yeah, perfect. Bada bing. Okay, so we got that. Now, where did I put the pieces? These door panels are a little goofy the way they go on. They're not your traditional setup. So what happens is, now bear in mind, I am not an interior guy, if you haven't noticed by now. So these things go on like that. So top and bottom, we'll put these on with some short screws, and the door panel actually fits between them. It's like a little channel. And then there's some little kind of clips that hold it in that way. Armrest, and that's it. So let's put these suckers on. Right now, there we go. Okay, so we got the two pieces of trim in. Now this door panel, she's seen a couple of hard times. Now it just probably got wet, so I took it apart. Well, I kind of spread it a little bit. The vinyl is coming off the backing, so I heat it up with a heat gun, try and get a little bit of life back into it. And that's not bad. And then sprayed a little bit of glue in there, clamped her together. Probably could have put like a piece of wood across instead of 50 clamps, but hey, what are you gonna do? This is DD speech up. Now, this goes like that. Oh, it's the bottom that was actually mangled, not the top. Now, this is where the amateur comes in. I don't know if you're supposed to slide it in. That seems like it'd be a lot of work. The other side, what I did is I got the bottom tucked in, and I kind of just folded it in the middle. Now this is definitely on the fragile side. It's maybe a bit of a battle. Gentle, gentle, gentle. So get it kind of started. Man, this is really seeing rough times here. Jeez. Jeez Louise. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Not bad. So this bottom piece is mangled. Anyway, so then I just kind of folded her. Just real gentle. Okay, here we go. Gentle. Gentle. This side's obviously not too great. What is happening? Now there's these little clips. I guess I could have showed you that, but they're just push clips. Give it a line up and a whack. Mint. This one. Stupid eyeballs. Now this one's really not happy. Oh well. Put the front in. The other side, I should have showed you that one. It was much nicer. Smells like glue. There we go. I can maybe mess with this back a little bit, but I think just the way she's gonna be. Maybe we can pull it. Whew, that's rough times. It's kind of just is what it is. So all good. Just gonna put the armrest or the door pull and the crank and the window on, and we should be golden. This is a little rough on this side. I might mess with it a little bit yet. Okay, so what do you think for seats? These are ones that I picked up a while ago. They're like an MG, so they're kind of meh. They're a little bit lower. These I actually just picked up yesterday. 75 bucks for the pair. That's a passenger side. The driver's side's a little beat. It's definitely got a little bit more bolstering. I mean, I know. Low back seats. They're hard to find and they're a fortune. So I have a rule of thumb. If I see low back or if I see bucket seats for a reasonable price, I buy them. Also, if I see Torx Thrust wheels at almost any price, I buy them. Those are the two. Oh, and any car you ever might think you need and pops up, you buy it. Well, that's our interior. I mean, it's a little janky, but overall it's pretty good. Now, what happens is this is the stuff here, this little kind of trimming, and it'll go around this area here. Top, it'll hold this panel in, it'll look nice all the way down, and then it runs into, I believe, heater kicked on. Yeah, this has a little jut up, so this kind of sits over top of it, something like that. So that's the plan. I think we'll let it sit for a little bit, let the carpet kind of do its thing. On the next video, we'll put the shifter in. I want to make sure this thing has gears. now that I've cut the brake and fuel line in half, but we got to redo the fuel line anyways because we put a new tank in. So you can't use an old fuel line. What do you think this is? DD Speed Shop here. We do nothing but the best. Heater off. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It's really coming along. It's unfortunate it didn't have a set of front seats. Apparently it did match, but they were pretty beat up. This one might be the winner for me, but you let me know what you guys think before I bolt them all in. I think that's it for me. Oh, so give my buddy Ben a call at this Great Western Saw. He's in Saskatoon. Because maybe I'll get a deal on some cutting discs and welding wire. Because, you know, I could use a deal every now and again. Next video, we'll tackle the trunk floor. We'll get that cut out. We'll get the quarter panel pushed out. We'll get the fuel tank back in, new fuel line run. And then, I don't know, I got a front end for this thing. We'll start working on all that. I have a windshield. Maybe I'll put the windshield in with Murr. I got a windshield with a new rubber. Be nice to maybe put that in there. I have a back glass, but I don't have the rubber. I did order it today though. So before you know it, this thing could be a running and driving, all the glass in it, rust-free car. If you want it, I'll give it to you for 12 grand. No, I'm just kidding. There you go. Leave a comment below, and I will see you in a couple of days, which is tomorrow for me.